Good morning, beautiful ones, and welcome to Lessons in Love. And today we're visiting lesson 341. And preceding that, we asked the question, what is a miracle? And we'll be taking a look at that as well. Before we dive into the lesson, we are going to do as we always do and take a holy instant where we pause and we center ourselves so that we're fully present for our lesson. So I invite you to gently close your eyes down. Drop your awareness inwards. And this morning I'm going to use a method which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 is where you're at, and 1 is the deep state of alpha, which is a really relaxed state, but a state in which you can truly learn as well and use both right and left hemispheres of the brain. And so 5, 4, 3, at 3, feel all the muscles in your body relax. Feel yourself settle fully in the seat. Your belly becomes soft. Shoulders and jaw relax. And 2 and 1, you're in a truly relaxed state now as you sit in your seat, ready to absorb today's lesson, feeling soft in yourself, feeling open, calm, and centered. Reminding yourself that you are centered by simply repeating, I am centered. And then we'll bring our hands together as we make an offering to the universe and begin this day in gratitude. We open our hearts and we surrender to love. We ask love to lead the way through the minutes and the hours of this another new day. We welcome joy, fun, and abundant prosperity. We recognize that all encounters are wholesome and that all experiences can be met with a peaceful heart that is anchored in the truth, that we are one, that we are love, and that we are free, 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 free. And we release these words and we let it be. Gently opening your eyes now, and we'll jump into our lesson. So this section begins with what is a miracle. A miracle is a correction. It does not create nor really change at all. It merely looks on devastation and reminds the mind that what it sees is false. It undoes error, but does not attempt to go beyond perception, nor exceed the function of forgiveness. Thus it stays within time's limits, yet it paves the way for the return of timelessness and love's awakening, for fear must slip away under the gentle remedy it brings. A miracle contains the gift of grace, for it is given and received as one, and thus it illustrates the law of truth the world does not obey, because it fails entirely to understand its ways. A miracle inverts perception which was upside down before, and thus it ends the strange distortions that were manifest. Now is perception open to the truth, and now is forgiveness seen as justified. Forgiveness is the home of miracles. The vision of God's child gives miracles of love and joy to all they look upon. Perception stands corrected in its sight, and what was meant to curse has come to bless. Each lily of forgiveness offers all the world the silent miracle of love, and each is laid before the word of God upon the universal altar to Creator and creation in the light of perfect purity and endless joy. The miracle is taken first on faith, because to ask for it implies the mind has been made ready to conceive of what it cannot see and does not understand. Yet faith will bring its witness to show that what it rested on is really there. And thus the miracle will justify your faith in it and show it rested on a world more real than what you saw before. A world redeemed from what you thought was there. Miracles fall like drops of healing rain from heaven on a dry and dusty world where starved and thirsty creatures come to die. Now they have water, now the world is green, and everywhere the signs of life spring up to show that what is born can never die, for what has life has immortality. I consider that to be a particularly beautiful piece. And I don't always remember all those examples of what a miracle is. The one that stands out most for me, I suppose, is that a miracle is that shift in consciousness. So if my consciousness is rested on something and I'm making something wrong, I know I'm not seeing it correctly. I know I'm not seeing it through the lens of love. It usually relates to a person, I suppose. If I'm not seeing a person through the lens of love, I ask for that miracle, for that shift of consciousness. I ask, how can I see this differently? How can I see this through eyes of love? I look to turn on my Christ vision. But I would endeavor to remember this as well. A miracle contains the gift of grace. How beautiful is that? That, we behave very gracefully when we decide to operate from our God selves or our love selves or from our soul selves, from that place of truth. There is such beauty and such grace in that. And I wanted to share with you, I'm doing the course myself with another group on the live calls, and we're at lesson 161. And lesson 161 is about getting another person, up in your awareness that you have some difficulty with, or maybe some judgment around, and you ask them to bless you in order to set you free. And I did this practice this morning, and I really got to identify something about myself that I found quite challenging. And that was that I see myself as better than some people, in that I'm on a better path and that I've chosen a better life, and I live a cleaner, healthier life, blah, 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 blah. Talk about take the splinter out of your, or the plank out of your own eye. Is that the expression? Before you take the splinter out of another's. And it was quite humbling to do the practice, because I realized just as I was about to do it, I was visualizing my brother, and suddenly I realized that on some level, I believe I'm better than my brother, or I had that thought. I've now shifted it. And of course, if I feel that, if I have a judgment on how he chooses to live, and I feel my lifestyle is better, then he feels that. Energetically, he feels that all the time, no matter what I say, or no matter what I do, or how I behave, if that's the energy I'm giving out. And so I began to do the exercise, and in the middle of it, I had this realization, and it was really humbling. And as I did the exercise, I went on my knees and I kissed his feet. And I realized, the Christ in him, and how I never look at the Christ in him. I always come from this place of hierarchy. No matter what I say or do, the truth is that there was this belief inside in me. And as I was doing the practice in my mind's eye with my brother, my ex-husband came into my awareness and said, "Me next." Like literally, it was like the energy of him was going, me, please, me. And so I did the same practice with him, and I realized the very same thing. I had this belief that somehow, I'm better and how I live my life is better. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is because the first shift in consciousness is recognizing that, is seeing that, oh my gosh, this is something that I have carried around and that I've acted from this place, and that they would have felt this. And so, I choose to see them now with Christ's vision. And I did. The shift happened in the exercise. And I also went and, kissed my ex-husband's feet as well. And it was a really, really beautiful practice and a beautiful thing to do. And there was that shift in consciousness, and I got to see them with Christ's vision. I got to see the pure love that they are. But the next piece then that you've got to do when, that's part of the miracle, is have that same shift in consciousness for yourself. So you don't slip into this place of judging yourself or beating yourself up. And, how it's put in the exercise is that, your brother lifts the thorny crown off your head. And I have come to realize that we all go around with thorny crowns on our heads, but we don't even realize we've got so used to them. Now, in that exercise, yes, my brother lifted that thorny crown off my head, but I could have very, very quickly put it back on if I were to go into judgment about my notions of being better. So that's the second shift in consciousness, or the correction. And I'm giving these examples because these are miracles. When this happens, when this comes into your awareness, this is the most magnificent miracle. And it doesn't admonish the need for forgiveness. We still work with forgiveness, of forgiving myself for buying into the illusion that I was anything other than love, and forgiving myself for buying into the illusion that my brother and my first husband were anything other than love. And within all of that, then there are miracles and miracles and miracles. And the miracles keep on giving, because that shift in consciousness is going to have an impact, not only on, my brother and my first husband, but also on my children and on, all those that they encounter and interact with. Because even though a conversation hasn't happened, there's been that huge shift in consciousness, and they will be aware. There will be a lightness that will come upon them. They don't need to have to understand it. I don't need to go and explain it, but something now has shifted in the universe. And so it's really, really beautiful. So just, I guess, be present to the miracles, notice them. I'm not saying you have to write them down or anything, but do notice, because they're beautiful and they're happening all the time, particularly once you start to do the course. It is called A Course in Miracles, and miracles keep on happening in your life, and you keep on having little awarenesses like that have big impacts. So, a small thing that can have a big impact. It's really beautiful. Anyway, we best move on to the lesson, but I really felt to share that. So the lesson is, I can attack but my own sinlessness, and it is only that which keeps me safe. So it goes straight into the prayer here. Creator, your child is holy, and I am the one on whom you smile in love and tenderness so dear and deep. And still the universe smiles back on you and shares your holiness. So there's this beautiful, light and sunshine and gorgeousness just being shone upon us when love smiles on us, as it does all the time. How pure, how safe, how holy then are we, abiding in your smile, with all your love bestowed on us, living one with you, and creatorhood complete. In sinlessness so perfect that the God of sinlessness conceives us as God's child, a universe of thought completing God's self. So this is how we're seen, this is how we're known by our Creator. So this then, I suppose the wise words to us are, let us not then attack our sinlessness. So let's not judge ourselves. And again, the example I gave this morning of me, or earlier as well, I did it this morning, of my feeling I was better than somebody. As I said, I could so easily go into judgment, but I'm not to attack that. I'm to recognize that I'm sinless. even though that was my thoughts and my behavior reflected probably on some level my thoughts as well. For it contains the word of God to us, and in its kind reflection, we are saved. So don't get into the story. Don't get carried away. Really and truly stop attacking your innocence. Allow your innocence to shine through, to come forth, to just simply be. Stop putting shadows over your innocence. Instead, lift those shadows and recognize the light that you are and how you are seen by the divine, as pure love, as pure light, glowing. So we'll take a short meditation today, just to be present to this. And I don't think we need to use the line that's there. I can attack but my own sinlessness, and it is only that which keeps me safe. I think just reminding yourself that you are safe, that you are loved, that you are light. I am safe. I am love. I am light. I am pure light.